answer. And speaking of the culture, what is really more important to the culture than fighting games in the world of Street Fighter? Ladies and gentlemen, we are behind us, of course, have the Capcom booth. Everybody is playing a new character, and I think you even had some experience with her already, Ann.
Yes, I was able to get my hands on Yasmin earlier. She's so cute, she's so fast. Her costumes, her colors, everything about her is incredible, and she just stands out amongst this cast.
Okay, and of course, a player that stands out, that's pretty much what he has done since he has come into the scene, is none other than Punk, the God himself. And what we have up next for you guys is a fireside chat with Punk the God and Seth Killian. Let's send things over to a special video.
You're the best in the world, man. Straight up. Punk, you the best in the world, bro.
Pack it up. Get off my stage. You can't touch me.
That's it. He should be able to confirm into the critical arc. And there it is. Punk is going to take it over Tokido. Justin Wong is going to be sent to loser's bracket by Punk.
Wow.
Daigo knows he wants to close this out.
Oh.
There it is. Orochi overhead for the block.
Big block.
Orochi again.
Yeah, because he's going to get more damage out of this now. Now it's the old school Victor Woodley. He's bringing out the bag. That's how we feel.
After I killed, like, what was it, 7,000 men I went through at EVO to win.
Evolution 2024 Grand Finals, Punk versus Big Bird.
Punk gets his retribution, his revenge. He is your Street Fighter 6 EVO champion.
Anything else?
Nah, I'm done. He trash.
Hello. Hello. We've been chopping it up here already and having a few laughs, enjoying the trailer. One of the trailers that kicked this off, they dug up an old piece of footage from the Red Bull Kumite, the 2016. There was an open bracket with a young upstart that no one had ever heard of, called Punk, who was just shredding world-class players like we've never seen before. And I was doing commentary with Mike Ross, and I remember even before you won the Last Chance qualifier, I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's playing on another level. He's doing things that I haven't seen before from anybody kind of this age. And looking at where you are now, EVO champion, all these accomplishments, I felt very proud about that read, because we were joking. It's like when you find a new band or like a new TV show before everybody else, like, feels like your thing. You had to actually do it. Now sitting up here, does it feel inevitable? Did you have any idea of where you'd end up? Did you know then that you'd be here today?
Back then, I knew that I could probably win most tournaments I attended. When I was playing Street Fighter V, I watched people play for a while because I didn't play the game for a bit when it released. It took me a while until my friend Sean told me to come play Karen. I was kind of done with fighting games at that point because I just really disliked Street Fighter V at the start. I didn't like how Ken was, and Ken is my favorite character. But then I started playing for like maybe 2 months before that tournament. I started training and actually playing the game for the first time, and I just started liking Karen. And then as I played for like a month, I think I played in some online tournaments, and I beat Knuckle Dude, and me and F-Champ went to like last round, and then F-Champ was like talking trash to me online. And I don't like when people talk trash to me. So I was thinking, I'm like, all right, F-Champ. Eventually,
you want to do the trash talking.
Yeah, I'm just like, eventually we're going to see each other again at a tournament, and it's going to be different, you know. So once I had someone talking trash to me, it really lit the fire under me. The first person to do it, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need. This is the thing I like. And I just keep practicing up until the Red Bull tournament, and I start to notice that there's things in the game that only I could do at the time, and no one else. Everyone would complain about Five. You can't really whiff punish.
The one hit confirms.
Yeah, you couldn't really hit confirm. And I was thinking, I'm like, but I could do those things. And they're complaining about it. So in my head, I'm thinking, if I can go to these tournaments, there's no way I'm losing right now. I should have the advantage over everyone. And time goes by and it actually was a real thing. Like I was a bit ahead of everyone during that time in Street Fighter V, and I knew that I could do something. I didn't know how long it would last, but I knew at that time I was the best player for Street Fighter V. Even before going to any tournaments, I had the idea in my head already.
You had that firm, so you did know. You had that. That's, I think, that inner confidence really impressed me early. And then even just when you were talking about it and how F-Champ trash talked to you, your face changed just while you were sitting there, and you went into like I call it like the hunter's eye, right? That's like, you're a hunter, right? Like, you're a hunter of men, and I was really blown away by that. You weren't just beating good players, you were making world-class players, Justin Wong, right? You were making these guys uncomfortable. You were making them hesitate. And it was like, that's a really hard thing to do. Do you know that you're doing that to people? Like, you're sort of putting them off like that?
Yeah, I can tell for sure. Like, I think a big part of fighting games is, or being a great player, I think, is noticing when you have a mental advantage. Because I think fighting games is not all about being better than someone skillfully. But if you can get a mental advantage and you can notice that, it gives you a huge advantage in the actual match now. As you saw like in the clip where I teabagged Higuchi at Evo Japan, that maybe the first time I used a teabag to just get a mental advantage, because I know Higuchi mentally is not good. And then after I teabagged him, he ended up dropping a round-winning combo that would have gave him the game, and I'm like, it worked. It really does work. So, I think a mental strategy is a very big thing in fighting games. Maybe people don't like it if you teabag or something, but it's a sport at the end of the day. Michael Jordan was telling people the craziest things playing basketball. So no way you couldn't tell me I can't hit down a few times on my controller or is something wrong with that, So if you playing in competition, you got to be able to take whatever, If we're not fist fighting, so whatever else is with it in the game, you just got to handle that.
Mental game is the part that I love the best. What is the thing that you see in the game that everyone else is just wrong about? Is it the trash talk? Is it bringing that back to try and find the mental advantage? What do you see that you think everybody else just doesn't see or is wrong?
I do think that that's a big thing. Like, I think that people shouldn't be so, like, of course you can not like someone because they trash talk. Obviously there's going to be some villain that you might not like. But at the end of the day, all of us competitors, we respect each other, whether, someone do something bad to the person in the game or whatever. We still competitors, and we understand that. But the fans, they don't really understand that part, and they just think that any little disrespect is a bad thing. But I think that that's a good thing. One is entertaining. At the end of the day, when someone do something like a teabag or something, everyone is on Twitter or everyone's at their monitor typing on Twitch like, oh, he's a bad word I don't want to say on the Evo stream, but they're saying those things over and over, and it's like, so y'all don't want it, but y'all love it at the same time. So, I think that it's important for fighting games to have like people who are, I guess, categorized as a villain. I don't think there's really any villains. There's not really many bad people in the fighting game community, but in the game, there's for sure some people who they're just not good people.
I appreciate you bringing balance to the force with like a little bit of villainy back in the scene. And it is true, right? Like, you can make people kind of dance. Like, that's the job, right?
Yes.
Like, you got to be making people react to you. And if they're getting baited by the taunts, back in the arcade, it would be a little rough, right? You'd hear the worst thing about you, right? Like, if you had something embarrassing about you, you're only going to hear about that.
Yes.
Like, it's going to be, and same thing, people kind of poking holes in the games. So I guess when I think about, like, when you started young, you were under a lot of pressure, and frankly, you were getting like a lot of hostility, like right from the beginning. But it sounds like you're able to basically kind of like feed on that. How do you use that as a power source?
For me personally, like the way I grew up with my family is, I grew up with a big family, have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and my mom and dad, we all lived together in the house. So me and my brothers, we were just always competitive, always telling each other we're trash, because they're the reason I got into fighting games pretty much. It's because of my brothers. So growing up, I just grew up feel like I've already had an edge to me that, no matter what you say to me, I'm not going to really care. Part of the reason I really want to play fighting games is my brother back then, before I played Justin Wong, he told me that I would never beat him. Yeah, my brother told me that I would never beat Justin Wong, and I told him I was like, I mean, it's going to happen one day. We're going to play, and then what you say is just going to be wrong. And then me and Justin played at the Red Bull tournament. I beat him, and I immediately messaged my brother the second that I won. I just messaged him, and he had nothing to say. So I'm like, yeah, I won, like, you know. So for me, all the trash talk or people not liking me, I love it. I don't want anyone to like me realistically, you know. If you don't like me, then oh well, you know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect my career. Maybe it even helps me because at the end of the day, you're still talking about me. So it's a good thing, you know. Whether it's bad publicity or good publicity, it's all getting you talking about me at the end of the day.
So now that you've been to kind of the top of the mountain in some ways and were able to win so many great championships, like, what is it that drives you? Is it sort of, you're saying your brother said you'd never do it, so you had to go and dunk on that. Is it Punk versus the world, or is it Punk versus Punk? Like, do you fight for yourself to try and be the best you can be personally, or are you trying to just beat all the other players?
I think it's both. I think that's why I could do well in tournaments. I feel like I just really hate losing. I think I'm one of the saltiest people to ever walk the earth, honestly, if I'm
You'll
being
never
real.
find a champion who doesn't hate,
Yes.
like deeply hate losing.
Yeah, I think everyone who's the best at something, no matter what it is, they really, really hate losing. And I'm a very salty person. When I lose, I'm get really angry, which is not really good, but it makes me angry losing, and I think that drives me. And the fact, if I know that someone know I'm better than them, it makes me happy, you know. So I really just want, before I retire, everyone to realize that I was the greatest player to play either Street Fighter or fighting games, whatever people want to think. Maybe it's not fighting games because I just play Street Fighter, but if they could tell me I'm the greatest Street Fighter player to ever live, when even Street Fighter 10 is out, that's what I want my legacy to be. I want everyone to just know,
hell yeah,
I'm the greatest to ever touch the stick. Or controller, I guess, in my case.
That's, yeah, that's, I think there's a couple of powers that you touched on in there that you have, but one of them for sure is like you want people to remember. I think of one of your powers, one of your superpowers as like you leave a scar, right? Like it's like Sagat kind of stuff, right? Like you play Punk and you might get embarrassed, right? Like you might leave a scar, he's gonna bring it up again, he's gonna rub your face in it. That sucks, right? Like you really don't want to do that. So it's like, I feel like that's one of, this is, now sounds like you actually, this is part of the plan, right? Like you want people to remember that beating.
Yes.
So they hesitate the next time.
Yeah, that's really it. Like when I sit down to play someone for the second time, I want to see them shaking. You know, I want to see something visibly that they don't want to play right now. Like they want to go home. You know, that's that's the feeling I want to get from my opponent when I'm playing against them. Because that feeling lets me know that, you know, I'm doing a good job at what I want to accomplish in my career.
Demoralized.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, like putting people on tilt is, so when you're, you know, you've had some dramatic second place kind of finishes, so you put people on tilt, try and kind of mentally break them. What is it that you do, right, when you decide to save the meter and then you lose the round, or when you drop something, how is it that you avoid getting tilted? What is the thing? Because you play with a lot of emotion, so how do you break that cycle and get back to business?
Usually for me, I usually don't get tilted in games. Like the only thing that really gets me upset is if monitors are bad, something like that. Like the equipment is just, you know, where I can't play my best. But if there's any time, like if someone beat me, if I drop a combo and it was just my fault, it's just my fault at the end of the day. Like I think as a fighting game player or doing anything, if you make a mistake, you can't think about it. If you think about that mistake, you're going to lose so much faster, you know. The game is never over until it's over. So one mistake is not the end of the world. Even if it costs you a game and the first or two you down 1-0, you got another 2 games. If you win the next one, you got 2 games to play. So for me, trying never to get tilted is like, that's at least my mindset. I just, anything that happened in the game is just fair play. Like it's all my fault in my opinion. So I'm not really trying to let it make me upset and play worse.
No blaming, nobody, you know, nothing outside, it's on you.
Yeah.
Outside of the monitor.
Yeah, everything is good, setups is good, it's only me losing. So I can't really be upset at that. It's something I gotta go home, fix, or maybe watch and just realize what I'm doing wrong and just come back better.
That's a very healthy attitude. when I have friends who are playing a great player or a famous player in the bracket, right? Someone they respect, I try and warn them, like, respect will cost you frames, right? Like, if you respect somebody, you're gonna not do the obvious thing.
Yes.
You're gonna maybe second guess your choice a little bit in the corner, and all that is expensive, right? Like, it's costing you. So how do you think about respect and earning respect?
I think that for me, when I'm playing in the game, I don't respect anyone. Like, I have no respect for my opponent if I'm playing you, because I feel like that's a lot of pros, or not pros, but like semi-pros problem, I think, in fighting games is they lack confidence, and they also are too respectful of someone they think is amazing. And that's just not good. You got to play everyone like they're that scrub online that you hated playing, that you talking trash to your monitor. You have to play everyone like that, because top players, I see it all the time, where a decent player is about to beat a pro and they just choke really bad because you can just tell the nerves is getting to them because they're about to beat someone that they look up to or respect, and that's just not good. You have to just get that out your mind. Obviously, it's respect between us. When the game is over, we shake hands. Whoever wins, wins. But when we in the match, I don't like you. Like, you're
A poker player, you can't just play when you have good cards, right? You
Yeah.
have to be able to win with bad cards. So, I don't know. Tell me what you were thinking about, like, minus being just a mindset.
The way I see it is, a lot of people, myself included, someone to do something minus, and they'll press a button after, and we're just like, why would you do that? That's just so random, right? But at the end of the day, being minus, if you can't really punish the person, it's not a real thing, Because what if I do something that's just taking way too many frames, trying to steal from you now because you're a little minus, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do something crazy to take my turn, and then people can adapt later in sets and be like, okay, he always does this here, and even though he minus, this button is faster than the one he always presses to take his turn back. So, in my opinion, being minus is just, if you want to be that, you can always choose to keep going in your pressure or whatever it is. You can just keep going. If you don't want to stop, you just keep it going. And you can play that way, and it's scary. It's a very scary play style for people who, like, you don't know if they're going to do an invincible reversal after being minus. They're going to press a button, and then that mind game makes it really hard to fight your opponent now, because defensively, you don't know what they're going to do anymore. And now you trapped in a mind game, and it can get really difficult to get out of that, in my opinion.
I think that's right. It sort of snowballs, and like that's how, yeah, you hunt people down and crush them, and they start getting into their own head, and then they just collapse.
Yeah.
Thinking more about poker, we're here in Las Vegas. Like, Doyle Brunson's one of those old classic players, and he said the key to no limit hold'em is to basically force people to make decisions for all their chips often. And I think about that when I watch you play, right? Like, you're constantly making people make hard decisions, even when they're plus, right? And I feel like that's such a big advantage for you. Is this the sort of the background of how you sort of snowball all of your momentum?
I think it comes from when I was just a really big scrub. Like, I had different philosophies of how to play fighting games when I was bad. And I think that I carried a little bit over to being a pro, and it can be bad or good sometimes, but I think it does help me. It helped me sometimes, but I think it's just when I was a scrub, I had really, I think, bad, like, my mindset for fighting games weren't too good because I didn't really understand how to play them correctly. So I just had some scrubby things I used to do that worked, and I think that's why I think that way.
So you've talked before about math was your favorite subject in school, and you liked that there was just sort of a clean right answer. You were talking about, like, before I used to play Street Fighter wrong. Like, so there's a right way to play, and you feel like you figured that out? What's changed? What's been the difference over time? What were the biggest power-ups?
I think there's a right way personally to play Street Fighter, but I also think there is no right way to play it at the same time, because
Very zen.
Yeah, you see people win that, they don't play the cleanest play style. You might be a little crazy, and it took time to accept that for me too, and realize that those things is okay to do in tournament, because we're just trying to win at the end of the day. We're not really trying to impress people, And I had that. I think I used to have that problem when I started. Is I just wanted to play good, so everyone can see me playing good. But now I don't care about doing the scrubby stuff because I've seen so many great players win by just doing scrubby stuff all the time. So I just feel like that there's really no right way to play Street Fighter, even though in my head I have a way that I think is the correct way. I think that anyway, as long as you can find victories and win with it, then there's no real correct way to play the game. It's just your way, as long as it's winning, I think is a good way.
I think that's got to be right, and it's you can easily get in your own head and start to get a little too clever for your own good.
Yeah.
When just something stupid is like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Oh, I know that you know. You can just do the obvious thing sometimes, and it works. When you're playing another player,
Yes. So this
how much
got
of it
about another
is
10 minutes.
playing
So
them
let's
and
go
trying to
ahead
model them specifically versus just like, here's the last 5 or 10 decisions that they made? How much of it is sort of statistics versus like a feeling of the mind?
For me, when I go into a match, it's usually, the bad habits that I know about the player, or maybe I watch some matches before to see what they like to do.
Just confirm,
and then
too.
I'll take that for like the first half of the match, and then when the match is going on, I'm trying to change to what they're doing, because I'm sure they're not going to completely play to the way I seen. But if I could maybe get some of that stuff to work and then adapt to the new things that they're doing, I think that for me, that's the way that I like to go into the matches and try to adapt on the fly, and also having knowledge before the match start.
There's some people talk about kind of a flow state when you play. You're kind of out of your mind. You play with a lot of intensity. So great champions either talk about kind of this flow state where they're not thinking at all, or thinking about everything very carefully and intently. And I see elements of both in your play. So what does it look like from the inside of your brain?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both for sure, because a lot of times I like to play off of instinct and just
I don't know how much
my raw skill a bit too much. I rely on a lot. And I think that's not good all the time. You have to study and, prepare in other ways than just relying on your skill to beat someone, because these guys are not just relying on their skill. They're studying, they're talking to their friends to figure out what you're doing bad, what bad habits you like to do a lot. And I think that's another good way. But for me, it's just a little bit of both. Sometimes I like to just play off of like raw instinct, and then sometimes I want to kind of study my opponent. I think it just really depends on, I guess, the person I'm playing against and how much respect, funny enough, how much respect I actually have for that player.
So what does respect look like for you there?
It's just, for me, it's
you'll do a little more analysis or a little bit more.
Yeah, because you ask any of my friends, I think most people are trash. Real, honestly, I won't lie. I think a lot of players that people say are good, I just think they're bad. I look at them play and I'm like, it's not impressive. And for me, to respect someone, I have to see you have to be either getting top 8s all the time, or you have to be winning tournaments. If you're not doing those two things, then to me, I just don't really care about you, Even if you beat me in a tournament, if you do something, you beat some other players, but if you're not making top 8s or winning, then, I'm not going to have respect for you to be like, I need to go study this guy right now. Like, to me, I just feel like you're not on my radar. I'm looking for the Menards
Consistency.
and the Lashars. I'm looking for those guys in the bracket. I'm not looking for the guys that's a little lower than them.
Careful disrespect. So part of your superpower for sure is tilting the opponents. Like, what is it that you're looking for? How can you tell there's a chance to sort of tilt them? And what is the thing? How do you let them know that you know?
Well, I don't want them to know that I know that they're tilted. But they will know, because like I'll change my gameplay completely. I'll just start playing disrespectful. I'll jump more. I'll start dashing. I'll just get really aggressive to try to kill you, to see if you can still stop it right now. Because if you show me you can't stop it, then our match gonna be quick. But if you show me that you still there somewhat, then I'm a back off a little bit, and I'm a pick my spots on when I want to do the disrespectful things.
I like the idea of just jumping as disrespect also, because it's so like you're not supposed to do it, but if you decide like, well, this is too obvious, you're basically taking an option off the table, and now limiting your play. So you got to kind of check them on the like disrespectful stuff. Are they ready for it? Are they still thinking about it?
Not anti-airing, and you know they're usually good at it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this guy is, he's nervous right now. Why is he not anti-airing me? So I think that those type of things like jumping and dashing, you should never base your game around it, but you can always test your opponent, especially in clutch moments. Decisions like that, like obviously you could get anti-aired and just lose, but they might not anti-air you because they're so scared in a clutch moment. They're not trying to input. They
You
just
put
wanna
them to
block.
the test. You make them play for all the chips.
Yeah,
right?
you're like, all right, this guess is for me and it's for you right now. So which one of us going to make it out alive right here?
I like that. Yeah, that's the key, right? Like you just got to keep putting. It's also really sucks to play against guys like you because it's exhausting, right? Like you're losing energy, like just being tested like that all the time. You can't just be on autopilot. You can't do the obvious stuff. So you're really kind of draining that mental energy. For me, well, let's think about like, okay, the name Punk, CM Punk, of course. You've got the Grimjow, bleach tattoo. A lot going on there. What balances that out for you? Who's your Ichigo? And who do you think about rivals?
Rivals, yeah. I think, I feel like Shanghai. I think that is my biggest rival, in my opinion. There's no guy on the planet that makes me as angry playing against. Like, it's not like I'm angry at him, but when I'm playing, I just feel anger. Like, I just can't lose to this guy. It's something about it. I just don't want to lose to him. And maybe it's because he is one of the greatest players, and people always, telling me that he's better than me and that he's a greater fighting game player than me. And maybe that just make me just not dislike him, but dislike him when I'm playing against him. And yeah, I think that's the only guy. And Tokido, it used to be Street Fighter V. He took my Evo from me, so I kind of just didn't like him the whole game.
I like that attitude. That was my Evo.
Yeah. And in this game, I made it my mission to never lose to Tokido. And right now, I think I'm like 4-0 against him. So I'm doing a very good job right now at that. So
that's good advice at home. Just make it your mission to not lose to Tokido, and then you're done. So you got the CM Punk, you got the Bleach characters. Like you're also from Philly, right?
Yes.
Like what? That's a city with a bit of a chip on its shoulder.
Yeah.
Likes to scrap, has kind of an underdog mentality. How does that? Do you feel like Philly sort of shaped a little bit of who you are?
Yeah, for sure. Like I know Philadelphia is definitely why I'm how I am. I talk trash and stuff. All those things is because I grew up in a rough environment my whole life. I grew up in the hood pretty much, and I feel like that shaped you to be a different kind of person. The environment, and you just see a lot of crazy things in your life, and I just feel like it made me like a harder person. Like it's more. I don't want to say the word tough because I'm not like trying to fight people, but I guess like just harder in the inside. Like I don't really care about people's opinions and stuff
Resilient.
like that.
Yeah.
So I think that thing kind of helped me even for Street Fighter because a lot of people say bad things, and if you go online and you just let those things get in your head, you might not want to play anymore. It might affect your tournament performances, and you just can't let outside noise really affect what you're doing as your career.
I think that's right. And I think, the pressure you were under from a young age, both from the upbringing and then also just like online with all the flack that you get from people, what do you feel like it's taught you about people at a young age that most normal people don't learn even when they're adults, right?
It's honestly shown me how there's a lot of fake people in the world, because those people online, I see them in tournaments, and some of them will actually come up to me and take pictures. Or there was an instance where there was a guy who, like, he told Knuckle Dude that he hated me. And then apparently the guy came up and asked me for a picture right after, and then dude telling me, he's like, yeah, that dude literally just told me that he disliked you completely. And I'm like, that's just weird. Like, it just shows me that people aren't really, they only hate you from afar. But when they're in your presence, they wanna be a part of whatever you got going on, even if it's not really anything. They just wanna be a part of it, and it just really showed me that
human nature.
Yeah, people are just really fake, and that the guys that's online talking, they're the ones who really love you the most. Like they're just salty that you're losing or something, so they wanna, I don't know, just say something bad to you. But when you win, they probably really in their house crying, cheering, happy. So for me, I feel like that's like I learned that people are very fake, and when you're nothing and no one really cares about you, and then you get a little bit of fame or whatever it is, people will really change their whole attitude towards you.
So I think that's leads me right into what I've been thinking about, which is when I first saw you play, you know, you were a young guy, 17. Now you're 27, still young, but like not a little kid anymore. You're turning into a figure in the scene, an elder statesman. You've also got, at the beginning, it's easy to be like, I don't care, I don't give, you know, who cares, because you have nothing to lose. Now you've got expectations, right? Like you have a reputation to defend, all these things. How do you think about that balance? And what do you want to kind of grow up? Yeah.
For me, I think, I don't know, my reputation is weird to me because I don't care really about it, how people view me or anything. You know, as long as the people that in my life I love and care about, if they're telling me that I'm doing good in life and I'm not doing anything bad, for me, that's the people that I want, my reputation to be good for. I don't really care about the randoms online who think I'm salty or I'm a bad person because I complained about a tournament. Those people, it doesn't matter to me at all. I feel like I try to be as best person as I can be. I try to be a good role model for, kids or anyone. I try, but sometimes, everyone have a little crack in their armor, and sometimes I get salty or whatever it is. But I think that the people who really support me, they see that, I'm not a bad person or any of those things. So for me, as long as I know that there's people in the world and the people I love, they know that, what I'm doing is good. That's like what really matters to me.
I love that. Last question. First, congrats on your engagement.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. Maybe in the future someday, cheers for that. There's maybe in the future someday there's a Punk Jr., but even setting that aside, like for the Punk of the future, an up-and-comer today, a future killer, what is it that you would like to see in the FGC? What is the FGC of the future that you'd like to see them playing in, both as a player and as a person? What do you would want to see from that future FGC?
The thing that I want to see from the FGC is, one, I hope that, that it just honestly keeps growing, and I hope that people keep supporting fighting game tournaments and, keep enjoying the events, because without fighting games, I don't know what I would be doing in life right now. So for me, it's something that changed my life, and, I just want everyone to enjoy it. I hope, I'm happy to see that so many different kind of people that can come in the FGC and, enjoy their time here, no matter black, white, LGBTQ, whatever the case may be. I'm happy to see that everyone has a place to just come play some fighting games. And, I just hope that, there's some bullying sometimes in the community for some people. I just hope that people would stop doing those kind of things. And, in the future that we don't see any of that, and just you see a bunch of people just coming to play fighting games. Hopefully there's a lot more sponsorship opportunities in the future for a lot of players, because there's so many great players in fighting games that can't make it to a lot of tournaments because they aren't sponsored or get the chance to show their skill. So, I just hope that there's more opportunities for all those people in the world to come out, because you have like Arslan Ash, people like that who it's very hard for him to travel out his country because, it's making money and things like it's just a lot harder, and the money and stuff is a lot lower than the US dollar. So those kind of things, I love to see stories like that in the FGC. So I just hope to see more new players and, more kids especially. I like to see kids like Blas come out and just start
Super
doing
exciting.
good. Yeah, because it's not a lot, I feel like, that play fighting games, because it's not cool in school to really play fighting games. You want to play Call of Duty and those things. So I just hope that people just start to enjoy fighting games more, and, they start to see that the community is very good to be a part of. You can meet all your favorite pros. It's not like a Call of Duty event where everyone's hiding backstage the whole time. You could see me walking around, Mena, Daigo. You get to take pictures with anyone, and I think that's the beauty of the FGC. So I hope to just see it keep growing, and new players keep blossoming, and, by the time I'm old, I just hope that, this is way bigger than it is now for the kids in the future.
That was my dream too. Really well said, Punk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck, champ. We're going to throw it back over to our hosts, and thanks again to champ Punk.
Thank you, Seth.